What immediately occurs is the placement at the United Nations. Since 1985, it has hung outside the Security Council at the United Nations, which seems to be a very appropriate place for it. When the UN underwent renovations and it first went to London, then it certainly, within Gashgumakaka's piece, it certainly had, and in commemoration of the 1939 exhibition of the painting there, it certainly had that same weight. The Guernica was sort of a halfway commission. In other words, the idea and the weaving was in process when Nelson Rockefeller found out about it. So, and then there are two others that were woven independently, and then he bought them afterwards. I think it was 1970, Nelson Rockefeller wrote to Picasso because he had a great friend, Wallace Harrison, the architect, who was quite involved in initially bringing the tapestries to his attention, and he was also the architect of the United Nations. But his Wally Harrison suggested that the tapestries themselves were becoming quite valuable, and it would be a good idea to have some document of authentication that they were woven with Picasso's permission, et cetera, et cetera. So Nelson Rockefeller wrote to Picasso and sent over photographs, 8x10 black and white photographs of each of the tapestries that had been completed at that time, and Picasso signed on the back. One is in Colmar in France, in the Muséum der Linden, and the other is in a small museum in Japan. I think it's in Gunma, G-U-N-M-A. I've never been there. I understand it's about 2 hours from Tokyo. And they differ from this first one in that they both have a border. One is an ochre border and one is more browns or in those tones, yeah. As is recorded, Picasso approved each tapestry before it was actually made. He approved he gave his permission for the specific tapestry to be made, and then he approved the final weaving as well. There are some very grainy newspaper, they're black and white photographs of him looking at the Guernica tapestry when it was, I think it was at the Grimaldi Chateau or museum that he saw it. He spent quite a bit of time in the area where they were being woven, so he would go by as well. Sometimes I think some of the cartoons he approved when he saw them. I'm not sure he did all of them, but yeah, he approved the process and he approved the final final images, the final tapestry, the final weaving. So. Beneath Picasso, it looks like a C and an A, and that is Atelier Cavalier, which is the name of the studio that wove it. So the weaver, not in all cases, but in almost all cases, wove in Picasso's name and her, the insignia of the atelier. Most of them also carry the weaver's label on the back. That's not an authentication from Picasso, but it tells the name of the weaver and the number of the edition, etc., etc.
The project in itself was collaborative. The commission was Goshka's project, but as I said, it was a very open process, and the installation in a way depicts that plurality of ideas. In itself, the installation had various media, had the tapestry, had sculpture, had a whole architecture in the room that was shifted and designed, film elements, and of course the animated elements, the real element of people using the table. So it was very diverse as a whole project and very open to collaboration.